For $20, the promise and the foundation that you have currently, I would say it most definitely is worth the $20. Now that may seem a little steep at first, especially for a game that is literally just starting out. They have the foundation and they have a few flashy gizmos in it, and that's about it. But as it stands currently, it has great potential. I love the gas system in it and how you have to ensure that oxygen stays with your people, and everything just feels like it's leading into a really nice balance. As it stands currently, because it is in alpha, there are a few things, several things missing that do feel like it kind of shifts the balance towards one thing or the other just because they really haven't had time to implement and see the long-term effects. So first off, I'm gonna list off a few things that I really do love about it beyond the gas system, which, that if I had to, that probably is my number one thing. I love the art style about it. It's obviously very reminiscent from Don't Starve, considering that that's the previous game that they worked on. But I also like the idea of how you get new people in that they are just duplicates of certain DNA templates of people. I find it fits in with their whole kind of like morbid, irreverent of human nature type thing. I don't know, it's just something that gets me going. I love it. The next thing I like about Oxygen Not Included is the construction system and how it goes based on weights and how you need a certain weight of a type of, resource that you would need, and not necessarily just certain units. It's a tiny detail, but it's something that I enjoy, the little polishes that make things just that little bit extra unique. And it makes it seem kind of spacey too, like futuristic and stuff, seeing as how we're weighing by the exact weight and whatnot. Now, there are a few things that I do not care for as it stands currently, and yes, it's an alpha, blah blah blah, but that does not mean it's immune from things that I'm not going to just skip over the things that I don't like about it. So one thing, the top thing that I do not like about it is the camera. The camera moves way too quickly, and maybe I just haven't looked in the options enough, and there actually is, like a setting for adjusting how far you move with one little press, because for me, one little press and I'm halfway across the screen. It's like, well, what's going on here, guys? I just wanted to look at my person unclogging the latrines. And honestly, that little sidetrack here. I love the face that they make when they're unclogging the outhouse. It's just like, oh god, do I have to do this? Oh, it's great. So the camera, I feel, needs to be adjusted a little bit. It doesn't need much. If anything, if it has an option in there already, I'm sorry, I just didn't look. But if it doesn't, please add it. Another thing, and maybe this is just with builder games in general, or, town builders, whatever. Once you get to a certain point, you have to just sit there for long amounts of time for shit to get done, just because the projects that you're doing are so monumental. And after a while, you say you're skipping over for a while, and all of a sudden just shit is just gone completely awry. Everybody's dying, or they're all unhappy and they're all just destroying everything, which that actually happened to me. I was trying to repair my generators, the running ones, and every time I would get them repaired, some angry people would come in and smash the shit out of it, and it was just, obviously I had to abandon that game because there's no way I can come back from that shit. Every time I would build it back up, they would just smash the fuck out of it, and yeah, you'd be out of power. There's only so much oxygen I can have with no power. I don't know if that's necessarily a thing that Clay themselves can solve, or maybe that's just something that I need to work on, but it is something that I noticed with the game. Another thing is the current video settings, and I know, whatever, there's a lot of people who will fucking bitch about this, and I am one of them, but please, guys, as you do update the game, add a borderless full screen mode for assholes like me who love to alt-tab out of your games all the time. I don't know, it's not of paramount importance, but I do enjoy it, just because it seems a bit more integrated with the way things currently work on PCs, how people are just able to switch from one thing to another. Again, not a big deal, but if you could add it, I don't think it would be too much to ask. Now, a few bugs that I noticed, and this is just with the one as of March. I think they said they were going to do monthly updates, so as of the March one, I noticed there is a problem if you have multiple showers, that they'll just hop from one shower to another, and I mean, the really only way to remedy this that I've found is just to have one shower, and that's where your people shower. So you can have some grimy people waiting in line to get a shower. Another bug I noticed is that when constructing things, the way that the duplicates move, they will sometimes get into a hole and get themselves trapped, and I mean, maybe that's just, you know, you just got to be careful how you prioritize things and make sure that they stay safe, because I guess, seeing as how they are duplicates, they're not supposed to be Einstein, which I understand, that goes along the whole way. But that doesn't mean that the AI couldn't be tweaked a little bit, or just like the native priority of things depending on what's around it. I know that may be a lot to ask of them to, you know, make like a dynamic AI based on what's around the things that they're trying to build, but it has gotten a lot of my people entombed in tiles that I've been trying to build. Say I'm making an airlock or whatever, and if they're stuck in there, you know, they're being deprived of oxygen, and then they try and get through the airlock, they end up probably suffocating. And that, again, I don't know if it's a thing that they can really fix, but yeah, there it is. And the last big thing that I noticed is that the duplicates tend to get stuck on ladders. Now, I don't know if it's building really high ladders that causes this, or just a lot of ladders nearby each other, but there can be instances where they'll be stuck on a ladder between floors, or they'll be just stuck in mid-air in the ladder animation, because that typically happens when you dismantle it. I thought that it would just be, you know, they would just fall, which generally happens, but I have noticed that they've gotten stuck on ladders before, and you gotta fix that. You gotta fix it, make sure it all works smooth. But overall, currently, as the game stands in its alpha, I would say it's pretty good. I'm not gonna give it my official rating from my rating system, just because it's, you know, technically not a complete game, and I'm not gonna give it a rating, seeing as how it's not finished. But as it stands, if you guys like colony builders, give it a try. I like the art style, I like what they're doing with it, and I'm hopeful for the future. I think it's going to be a pretty good game, especially once they start to get a lot more content, a lot more of the mechanics flushed out. So, those are my thoughts. What do you guys think? Was I wrong on anything? Was I stupid? Let me know. Thanks for watching.